Thank you, sir. I now recognize Mr. Pfluger from Texas for his 5 minutes.
And Mr. Chairman, can I take just 20 seconds personal privilege?
Sure, I mean, it's your time anyway, yeah.
I've spoken with Mr. Ivey, and we had a good conversation, and my apologies for some of the unnecessary commentary earlier. We were able to talk about that. This is a committee that needs to function bipartisanly. Anyways, as we get to the, I hope you'll accept that apology as well.
Certainly, Congressman, thank you. I appreciate it.
Look, we've got 1.7 million known gotaways since President Biden took office. Ambassador Sales mentioned the number of Iranians, Syrians, Iraqis, Lebanese, Yemenis. It's 650 Iranians that have come into the country that we know about. 7.5 million people total in that period of time. When you look at what happened in Israel and you compare the threat, the possibility of a threat, Ambassador Sales, what lessons do we learn, and what actions must the Biden administration immediately take to prevent that type of attack from happening here?
Well, Congressman, I think one of the lessons from October 7th is that vigilance is essential. We can't let up on our guard. We have to take our adversaries seriously. When they say that they want to kill Americans, we have to believe them, and we have to prepare so that we can prevent them from doing so. When they say they want to wipe Israel off the face of the map, that's not just rhetoric. When they say death to America, that means death to Americans. And it's not just rhetoric, that's their goal. We have to take that seriously, we have to prepare, and we have to prevent it.
When it comes to our policy towards Iran, give me 2 or 3 points that need to be immediately reversed from this administration.
I think the most important thing that we can do, Congressman, is cut off the flow of money to Iran. You've heard some numbers from me, you've heard some numbers from Mr. Greenway. The bottom line is that sanctions work. Sanctions deprive terrorists and their state sponsors of the resources that they use to shed blood around the world. During the last administration, when we squeezed Iran's economy to the point that its accessible foreign currency reserves were equivalent to Haiti, the money for terrorism dried up. Both Hamas and Hezbollah had to adopt austerity programs to deal with the shortfall. And as I mentioned, Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, had to go on TV and beg for donations. That is the sort of sanctions posture we need to get back to dry up the resources for these groups.
Ms. Alinejad, thank you for your testimony, and thank you for reminding us that the Iranian people are not the problem, that the issue is the Iranian government, that the despotism, the authoritarianism, and the horrific ways in which Iranian people are treated is reflective of their desire to do harm and to use terror as the largest state sponsor of terror around the world, and I appreciate that. I'm going to move on to Mr. Greenway because I want to get to something that you talked about what Ambassador Sales was talking about on the sanctions. Talk to us about what this administration has done, how that's viewed as appeasement, or if it's something else, please tell us. But what has the issuance of waivers on some of the money? Let's just first look at the $6 billion in Qatar right now. It's not been given to the Iranian government, but it's made available. And talk to us about that and the need for sanctions as it's viewed around the world as strength instead of weakness and appeasement.
I appreciate the question, Congressman. And as Ambassador Sales pointed out, the interpretation that Iran has made is that their behavior, their conduct is encouraged because they're being rewarded for it. And that is the interpretation of all of our partners and allies in the region and those that we would target with sanctions in order to change their behavior. The interpretation is that we are getting the behavior that we are paying for. Our allies in the region think that we're paying for Iran's nuclear program because essentially we are. And all of this does is encourage Iran to conduct more of the behavior and provides the resources, the capital necessary to do it at levels it has not seen in over 20 years.
Is there any doubt in any of y'all's minds, I'll start with Ambassador Sales and go down the list, that Iran would use our porous southern border to infiltrate and then carry out an attack in the United States? Is there any doubt that they would not do that?
Zero doubt. They've tried to do it before. They'll try to do it again.
Ms. Alinejad?
Iranian regime claimed that the money that they get from the U.S. government It goes for humanitarian purpose. I am here to tell you that for the Islamic Republic, wiping out Israel from the map, destroying Israel, destroying America is a humanitarian act. That's why we ask the US government to stop handing out this money to Iranian regime, because it goes to Hamas and Hezbollah.
My time has expired. Any doubt, Mr. Greenway, Mr. Work, that they would use that to attack us?
None whatsoever, sir.
The
I
Iranian,
have to get a yes or no.
it's much more complicated than that, and
I yield back, Mr. John.